Start with the prayers. Om Shanno Mitra Shamvarunah Shanna Bhavatvaryama Shanna Indro Brahaspatihi Shanno Vishnurukramah Namo Brahmane Namaste Vayu Tvameva Pratyaksham Brahmasi Tvameva Pratyaksham Brahma Vedishyami Ratam Vadishyami Satyam Vadishyami Tanmamavatu Tadvaktaram Avatu Avatu Mam Avatu Vaktaram Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Today we start a new Upanishad. It's titled Taittriya Upanishad. It consists of 3 chapters. As usual, when we study the Upanishads, we always start with the Shanti Patha. Each Upanishad belongs to a particular Veda. Like we have Rig Veda, Yajur Veda, Sama Veda, and so on. So each Veda have got a specific prayer. That prayer is common to all the Upanishads in that Veda. We have chanted this Shanti mantra today. Basically, it is a prayer to all the Devatas to bless the teacher and the student. That is the essence of this mantra. Which are the Devatas which are prayed for to? Varuna Devata, Aryama Devata, Indra Devata, Brahaspati Devata, Vishnu Devata, Brahma. All these are all Devatas which are available in this universe, not visible to the physical eyes, but Veda says they exist. The power behind the Vayu is the power of the Devata. Vayu means the wind, the air. Prithvi, on which the entire universe is residing. Now, Prithvi is also controlled by one Devata. The controller is called as Devata. Vayu Devata, Varuna Devata, Prithvi Devata, all these are Agni Devata. These are all Devatas who don't reside in this world in a physical form. According to the Veda, they all live in the heaven, Swarga. But they have powers to control certain aspects of this universe which we see. So, the student prays for getting this knowledge. The teacher also prays so that he can complete the text. So it's a very beautiful Shanti mantra. And Taittriya Upanishad has got 2 Shanti mantras. Shanno Mitra Varunaha is in chapter 1. Sahana Bhavatu, which we all know very well, is in chapter 2 and chapter 3. So Taittriya Upanishad, remember, has got 2 Shanti mantras. Now, as usual, I will give you a rundown of the introduction to Upanishad, because this is a new Upanishad which we are learning. There are 12 major Upanishads. This chart you should keep in mind whenever we are studying the Upanishad, because this gives you the roadmap of a study which can last 4 to 5 years if you want to study the Veda properly. One can spend, this is once a week. When you want to learn 100% all the mantras thoroughly, it will take once a week. If you have a session like this, it will take you 5 years to study these 12 Upanishads. Upanishads are in different Vedas. How many Vedas are there? 4 Vedas are there. What are the names of the Vedas? Atharvana Veda, Yajur Veda, Sama Veda, Rig Veda. Atharvana Veda has got 4 Upanishads. Kaivalya Upanishad, which we have completed. Prashno Upanishad, Mundaka Upanishad, which we have also completed. And Mandukya Upanishad. 4 Upanishad in Atharvana Veda out of 12. Yajurveda is split into 2 sections. Krishna Yajurveda, Shukla Yajurveda. Krishna Yajurveda, there are 3 Upanishads: Kathopanishad, Taittriya Upanishad, Svetasvatara Upanishad. Shukla Yajurveda has got 2 Upanishads, which is Ishavasya Upanishad, Brahardanika Upanishad. So totally 5 Upanishads out of 12. Majority of the Upanishads are in Yajurveda. Samaveda has got 2 Upanishads. Chandogya Upanishad, Kena Upanishad. And the last is the Rig Veda, which has got 1 Upanishad, which is Taittriya Upanishad. Upanishads are the end portions of the Veda. Veda has got Veda Purva Bhaga and Veda Anta Bhaga. Purva means earlier portion. It has got mantras for rituals, primarily, and also for upasaks. Veda Anta portion usually has the knowledge, the philosophy behind the knowledge of Brahman, the creator, God. Who is the God who has created this? What is his form? What is his nature? That is what we study in the Upanishads. We have finished Kaivalya Mundaka Upanishad from Atharvana Veda. Then we have just now finished Keno Upanishad from Samaveda. We are doing Yajurveda, Taittriya Upanishad. So if there are some new students who have come first time into this session, these sessions are recorded and the classes are available either in the YouTube, or if you write to me, I will send you the classes in the Google Drive. The advantage of Google Drive is you won't be bothered with some advertisements and so on. So you can take, you can pause, you can take and study at your own pace. So the Kena Upanishad, Taittriya Upanishad, I'm going to take up now. Kena Upanishad, Kaivalya Upanishad, Mundaka Upanishad talks and the notes are available. Okay, so What is the general information on Upanishads? It is believed that in the past, during the Vedic period, there were 1,200 approximately schools of Upanishads. And each one had one Upanishad. Each school taught one Upanishad. So today we are only studying 12 Upanishads. So in the olden days, 1,180 Upanishads were there. 280 have been unearthed in the form of leaves in which the Upanishads have been written. 108 are accepted as genuine. Shankaracharya, Ramanujacharya, Madhavacharya, these are three stalwarts teachers who have studied the Upanishad and have presented a school of thought. Shankaracharya has presented the Advaita school of thought, in which he says there is only one reality, which is ultimately absolutely real. Madhavacharya comes from Dvaita philosophy. He says there is world and there is a creator. There are two separate, independently existing principles. Ramanujacharya comes out with Visishta Advaitam, attributed non-duality. Visishta Advaita means that we are all parts of God. God is there. There is God and there is Jiva. Dvaitam is there. Jiva is an attribute of God. It's a part of God. Jiva is not one with God. Shankaracharya says Jiva is one with God. And there is only God. Madhavacharya says there is God and there is Jiva. Ramanujacharya says Jiva is a part of God. Now, all these three acharyas have studied the same Upanishad, but they have come to three different conclusions. What is popularly accepted in India today is Shankaracharya's commentaries and his philosophy of Advaita. What we are studying here, and which is the major study which is done in Chinmaya schools of Vedanta, Arsha Vidya in Coimbatore. So all these major schools, they teach Shankaracharya's commentaries on Upanishads, which is Advaita principle. As we study the Upanishads, you will understand what is this Advaita. Generally, the order in which teaching takes place is Ishavasya Kena Upanishad, then Katho Upanishad, Prashno Upanishad, Mundaka Upanishad, Mandukya Upanishad, Taittriya Upanishad, Aitareya, Chandogya, Pravardhaneka, and Svetasvatara. These are 11 Upanishads which are generally taken in this particular order. Some don't consider Shankara has written a commentary on Svetasvatara Upanishad. Commentary is available, but some believe that it is not Shankaracharya's, original Shankaracharya's commentary. It is said that Shankaracharya wrote in the beginning commentary on Taittriya Upanishad. The first commentary which he wrote was on Taittriya Upanishad. His commentary, all these 11 Upanishad commentaries of Shankaracharya are available in the web. You can search the web, you can get the Sanskrit portion You can also get the English portion of those commentaries. It's available on the web, you can search. The beauty of Taittriya Upanishad is, in an advanced text called as Brahma Sutra, Vyasacharya has quoted 147 times this Upanishad. So you can imagine how important is the study of this Upanishad, because it's got a primary definition of Brahman or the creator, which is extremely popular. And what is that definition? Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam, Brahman. Every student of Vedanta must know this definition of the creator or God. What those meanings behind those words, that is a separate matter. We can go through the depth when we go through the Upanishad. Taittriya Upanishad explains the subjective reality directly and indirectly. Directly, it says the reality or God is Satyam Jnanam Anantam. Indirectly, the definitions are given as Jagat Karanam Brahma. It is the cause of this universe. The nature, in its own nature, is what? Satyam, existence principle. Jnanam, consciousness. This is the most important point, which we always take it as our own nature. What is that nature? Consciousness or awareness. On this Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam, three words, the whole philosophy is based. Three words: Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam, Brahma. Taittriya Upanishad, I'll give you a summary of the whole Upanishad, which consists of 3 chapters. Chapters are called as vallis. And the Upanishad is presented in a phrase manner. Like there are 8 lines, 7 lines, 10 lines in each of these paragraphs. So it is not a 2-line like Bhagavad Gita. You know, you have 2 lines in Bhagavad Gita. It's not like that. It is in a prose form. And 31 prose verses are there in the whole Upanishad. It is divided into 3 chapters, and the prose form is called as Anuvaka. So 3 vallis and 31 Anuvakas. Siksha Valli, Brahmananda Valli, Bhrugu Valli. These are the names of the 3 chapters. Siksha Valli has got 12 verses or Anuvakas. Brahmananda Valli has got 9 and Bhrugu Valli has got 10. What is the content of these 3 chapters? The content of the first chapter is preparation of the mind, preparation of the student. A student becomes fit to receive the knowledge of Veda. In our normal day-to-day world, all of us, we use our intellect to live in the world outside, and we go through a process of education in schools, colleges, and it is a step-by-step process. We don't come directly to graduate level and undergraduate level. We study in school We go to kindergarten, then we go to the elementary school, then the secondary school, and then the higher school, and then undergraduate, graduate, postgraduate, and then you get your PhD or doctorate. Similarly, the Upanishad also goes through teaching the student a few basic lessons in preparing the mind. The mind is the most important instrument in our body. We have the other organs like the lungs, we have the digestive systems, we have blood, we have so many things in this body. But what is the most important thing? The most important thing is we have an instrument inside this body. The instruments are what? Eyes is also instrument, Pancha Jnanendriyas, Pancha Karmendriyas, these are all instruments. But Antakaranam, which is consists of Mana, Buddhi, Chitta, Ahankara. This is a revision of the Tattva-bodha, the basic text of Vedanta. So our mind is the instrument we have to use to study the Veda. Our normal mind is a gross mind. It is seeing the world outside and it reacts to the world. But when we come to the study of Veda, the gross mind has to become subtle mind. The Rajoguna mind has to become Sattvic mind. And the whole process is explained in the first chapter, Sikshavalli. Jnana Yogyata Praptihi. Fitness to learn the Upanishads. There is no teaching involved of Vedanta in the first chapter. The second chapter, consisting of 9 Anuvakas, where the teacher teaches the Panchakoshas. This whole Taittriya Upanishad is a famous Upanishad, and it dwells on teaching our nature with the help of 5 sheets. SHEATHS, 5 sheets, 5 coverings. That is the heart of Brahmanandavati. That is the Jnanam. What is the Jnanam? Today I am this body and mind. That is what I think, this I. When I say I, what does it mean? Either we identify with the body and say, I am 5 feet tall, I am a male, I am a female. Or we say, we identify with our mind and we say, I was very happy today, emotions in the mind. Or we identify with the intellect and say, I have done graduate program, I have done a PhD program. So these are only identifications. But who is that I, which is saying all this? That is the analysis in Jnana Prapti. So second chapter is the most important chapter. And what I plan to do is, I have given you some notes which I have circulated today along with my WhatsApp message. And basically it consists of about 60 odd pages of notes. What I plan to do is give you a summary, a bird's eye view of the Taittriya Upanishad in about 8 or 10 sessions. These 60 pages will be covered roughly in about 6 to 8 sessions, I think, or 10 sessions. It depends on the speed in which I take it up. And then what I want to do is, I will be taking some aspects, some mantras out of these 31 mantras. I will choose maybe 4 or 5 mantras, which are the most important mantras in the whole Upanishad. I will go through Shankaracharya's commentary. The Shankaracharya's commentary, the notes are available for 2 chapters. I have written notes for Brahmanandavalli and Bhriguvalli. I have not written the notes for Sikshavalli because I thought it was just a preparation and I wanted to focus more on the knowledge portion. Therefore, notes are available. It is there in the website. Somebody wants to learn wants to learn these. I will circulate these notes at the time when we are starting the special classes on Shankaracharya's commentaries on Taittriya Upanishad. But if you are really keen, you can write to me. I'll send it to you. No problem. Okay, so this is Brahmanandavalli and the importance of this chapter, which is the second chapter, which is the main teaching of Taittriya Upanishad. Bhriguvalli is a 3rd chapter consisting of 10 anuvakas. Here, Jnana Yogyata Praptihi is focused. Again, some disciplines of what type of food you should eat, how should you meditate, upasana portion. So after teaching, always the teacher feels that there are some people who may not have understood the Upanishad clearly. So the Upanishad repeats in the 3rd, Bhriguvalli, where a student goes and repeats what he has learned from his teacher to the teacher. Very interesting portion, very nice portion. And some disciplines of you should not waste food, you should treat the food with respect. Why all that is explained, why nature is important is explained. So other disciplines are explained in the 3rd chapter. Now I will go to the 1st chapter, Sikshavalli, 12 Anuvakas. But before that, I want to give you a small gist of why we study this Upanishad, what is the background on by which, from where we are coming and where we are going. See, we all live in this world and we study in colleges and we know to a certain extent how we can live in this world, earning money, enjoying some comfort in the world, passing our life. This is our standard formula, standard way of living. We can be in any part of the world. We can live in America, we can live in India, we can live in Africa, we can live in Singapore, anywhere. But what is the common, general way of living? The general way I've explained is we try to live a comfortable life and a happy life. What Veda says is, there are 4 goals in life: dharma, artha, kama, moksha. Dharma means living a virtuous life, which everybody does. Artha means earning wealth. Kama means enjoying the world. With desires in the mind, you enjoy whatever you have in the world. Some may want to go to the moon, some may say, I want to go under the sea, some may like to go to the mountains. So many desires are there. So that is all kama. No problem. You live a life of dharma, you earn money. 3rd goal, enjoy the world. Very, very few people come to the fourth goal of life, Purusharthas. These are all called as four Purusharthas: Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. Moksha Purushartha means I want to know my real nature. I want to know, is this the first three goals? Is that the end of the world? 99.9% of the people in the world only go through 1, 2, and 3. 0.1% of the people, they come to Moksha Purushartha. What is Moksha Purushartha? In simple terms, is to understand the reality behind me or the reality behind my whole life. Is this life of just earning and enjoying the life of comfort? Or is there a purpose behind my birth? Veda says there is a purpose behind your birth. We all are born, we all are gone. But in between, what we do makes the difference between one jiva and another jiva. We are all fortunate to come to this study. Very fortunate. Vivek Chodamani, in Vivek Chodamani, Shankaracharya says that unless you have done enough punyam, unless you have got enough merit in your individuality, jivatvam, you will never come to the study of Upanishads. There is some merit which we have done in the past lives, which brings us to the study of Upanishads. When we come to the study of Upanishads, the Veda Mata, Shruti Mata, the mother of scriptures, it takes over our life. You have come to that mother who will teach us from where we have come and where we are going. So the Veda, these Taittriya Upanishad mantras, if you study it correctly, clearly you understand the message behind it, go through the Shankaracharya's commentary on Taittriya Upanishad. The Upanishads gives you a guarantee that you will know your real nature. And what is that nature? That higher nature of mind is called as consciousness, awareness. It is eternally there. Eternally means there is no birth or death of awareness. Body dies, but consciousness never dies. That is the revelation of every Upanishad. So when you come to study the Upanishad, first of all, you should say, I have come to the right place to understand my real nature. I may study, I may not get the full picture, but doesn't matter. Keep on studying, keep on listening, keep on listening. One Upanishad after the other. Repeated study of Upanishads 3 times, 4 times, 5 times. I have some students who have done it with me since beginning in the last 10 years. Every year we have gone through the Upanishads. So, Upanishads are wealth of information about my own real nature. How do I get rid of fear of death? That is explained in this Upanishad. All of us, we have fear, anxiety. What will happen to me? What will happen to me? What will happen to me? What will happen to my children? Who's going to take care of them? These are all anxieties which we all have. And a study of these Upanishads will make us completely free from fear. Why? Because I have known the fearless principle in this body. There is a principle. I have never known about this. It is a realization. It is always there. It is always free from the body and the mind. I never knew this. The knowledge of this comes from Upanishads, which is called Brahma Vidya. Okay, so this is a short I wanted to explain to you before we enter the entire Upanishad. We will go through the process of study, and it will then tell us how we should look at ourselves. One basic definition of Atma we should remember. I always mention this in almost all my talks. I always mention this. Atma kaha. Right? Tattva Bodha tells me what is the definition of Atma. Atma is not the three bodies: gross body, subtle body, causal body. Atma is not the panchakoshas, the five sheaths: Annamaya kosha, Pranamaya kosha, Manomaya kosha, Vijnanamaya kosha, Anandamaya kosha. That is what we are going to study in Taittriya. And then the third one is Atma is not the three avasthas of the mind. The mind goes through waking, the mind goes through dream, and the mind goes through sleep. But there is something on which all these three states are coming and going. That reality is called as Brahman. Brahman or Atma is the bedrock on which the three sharirams exist, the panchakoshas they exist, and the three avasthas they come and go. What doesn't change is this Brahman, this Atma, this awareness, this consciousness. Always is there, eternally there. So there are two eternal principles in the universe. Number one, it is Brahman. Brahman means awareness, consciousness. And what is the second eternal principle? Second eternal principle is the Shakti of Brahman, is the power of this Brahman. That power of Brahman expresses as this entire universe. It is a phenomena. Waking state is a phenomena, dream state is a phenomena, sleep state is a phenomena. The three states are called as Vyavaharika Satyam, transactional reality. What is Brahman or what is awareness? It is Paramarthika Satyam. It is absolute reality. From Vyavaharika Satyam, I have to go transcend the Vyavaharika empirical reality, transcend it, go beyond to another reality. And that is called as Brahman. You can name it anything. You call it Brahman, you call it Paramatma, you call it God, you call it by any name. But you must remember that I don't have only the three states of the mind, but who am I? I am the Atma or the Brahman or the Turiyam behind these three sharirams, behind the Panchakoshas, behind the three avasthas. Our whole spiritual journey is to understand what I have described in the last 8 minutes. What is Atma? The definition in Tattvabodha, and what is this Satchit Ananda principle, which is the spiritual essence in us. The spiritual essence is the same one principle in you, me, and the entire world. That is why it is called as Advaita. Advaita means it is non-dual. It is not generally, it is said that we are all spiritual beings with a temporary human experience. So my spiritual reality is ever there. I'm always, eternally, I'm a spiritual being. And what is a spiritual being? The essential nature is awareness, consciousness. Minds are many. Minds will come. The mind which goes to sleep in America is different than the mind which goes to sleep in India or in Singapore. Minds are different. There is waking state in Singapore and there is a sleep state in America. Because the mind is different. The mind is going through 3 states. But the spiritual essence behind it, in which this mind is coming and going, is one. It is all pervading. It is Ekam. It is changeless. These are the things which we have to learn from this Upanishad. So that was a short introduction to our goal. From where we are coming from that spiritual reality. We have a temporary, incidental human experience with our siblings, with our children, with our society. And then we go back to our original nature, which is the same spiritual essence. Many students will now ask, can you tell me, what is that experience? What is that experience? Can I have it? Then the teacher says, you already are that. You only don't know, you're ignorant about it. That ignorance is called as Mula Avidya. You don't know your nature. You don't know the self. And realizing, it is called as realization of the self. Realize means what? It is there all the time. Only thing, I have to remove the covering of the 3 avasthas. I have to remove the covering of the Panchakoshas. I have to remove the covering of the 3 bodies. And the original, the jewel of our nature shines by itself. Prashna Upanishad says, you are that, you are a spiritual being in your sleep state. Brihadaranyaka Upanishad roars and says that you are Brahman. In your sleep state, you are that spiritual being. Differentiate. Let your intellect learn to differentiate the waking state, the dream state, and the sleep state. That is why you need a sharp intellect. Kathopanishad says, Shurasya Dhara. Develop your intellect sharply. What do you mean by sharply? It means learn to focus on one topic at one time. Let your mind not jump from one topic to another topic within 30 seconds. And that ability you get through meditation. In Wednesday sessions, I do take up meditation sessions. In Wednesdays, I have classes on Wednesdays also where I do Panchadasi. And there I take up meditation. Last Wednesday, I took a meditation on the second chapter, the first mantra of Taittriya Upanishad. It is for learning to focus on one topic. And then what happens to the mind? The mind becomes no mind. The mind loses its rajoguna. That projecting mind becomes a sattvic mind. When the sattvic mind you have, automatically the self-realization takes place. That is how the scriptures describe. Even in Taittriya Upanishad, you come to a mantra where the student is jumping with joy. Aho Ratri, Aho Ratri. I have realized this self. I have realized this self. The student jumps with joy. I hope each one of you who's listening can come to that realization of the self when we study this Upanishad. Okay, 12 anuvakas, 12 topics, 12 verses are there in the first chapter. I'm not going to go through each and every verse. I have grouped them into 5 topics. For our study, I will not go through each and every verse of these 31 verses, but I'm going to give you a gist of it, because studying each one of them will take at least 6 months to a year. If you want to complete this entire 31 with Shankaracharya's commentary, it will take minimum 6 to 8 months, minimum. Anyway, the 5 topics, as I said, the first chapter is preparation chapter. Siksha Valli. Siksha means learning. Learning, the student learns to prepare his mind. Like, for example, you prepare for the Olympics, or when you're going to a competition, you every day in the morning, you get up and then you run. What is that called? It's a practice. What do you achieve? You get the fitness to win the Olympic medal. Similarly here, the student is slowly trying to understand how I can realize the truth in my own mind. See, the entire journey, spiritual journey, is a very, very beautiful journey. It is a journey of each mind to know its source. That is what is Brahma Vidya. In this body, there is a mind. That mind is Karta, Bhokta, Pramata. Karta means the doer of actions. That mind is the Bhokta. Bhokta means enjoyer of actions. The mind is Pramata. Pramata means it experiences the world through the 5 Jnana Indriyas. So what is my total life in 3 letters? Pramata, Karta, Bhokta. Whole life is what? Only these 3. Either I'm learning something from the world, doing something in the world, enjoying something in the world. Learning something from the world is Pramata. Doing something is Karta. Enjoying something is Bhokta. Karta Bhokta is at the intellectual level. Buddhi. It is the intellectual kosha. Jnana, it is Manomaya kosha, and it is sheath I have to cross that. Vijnanamaya kosha. So Vijnanamaya kosha is the karta bhokta, is the doer of action, enjoyer of action. I have to cross that. I have to cross that and go to beyond that level. And that is what is called as Atma. Okay, so the 5 topics, the first topic is Shanti Mantra. This is the 5 topics of the first chapter. Shanti Patha, Karma Yoga, Upasana Yoga, Homa Sadhana, Japa Sadhana. These are the 5 topics. What is Shanti Patha? Shanti Patha means it is there in the first and the 12th mantra of this section, and which is what we chanted in the beginning. The prayer is for supporting our goal. The purpose of the goal is to realize my true nature. The prayer is to remove the obstacles. We pray to this Devata. Devatas are meant to bless individuals to clear the obstacles, which are there in the form of some doshas in the mind. So whenever we go to pray in a temple, what happens is there are certain doshas in our mind, it gets clear. I go to the Lord in Tirupati and pray. Let me pass my exams well. So I remove the dosha and I pass my exams, I come back, and so what happens is when I pray, my mind becomes free from certain projections which are there, which are disturbing me in my studies, disturbing me in my work, disturbing me in my normal life schedule. So the removal of obstacles is what is in the first section. We pray to Adhisthana Devatas. What are Adhisthana Devatas? Adhisthana Devatas are the Pancha Bhutas, Prithvi Devata. You see these 5 elements were the gods of Vedic times. In the Puranas, after the Puranas were taught by Veda Vyasa, he wrote the Puranas, 18 Puranas. Then only this Rama, Sita, Devi, all this came. But before this Rama, Devi, Shiva, all this came, the people used to only pray to the Pancha Bhutas. Varuna Devata, Vayu Devata, Prithvi Devata, Agni Devata. So these are all the Devatas with powers. They are also Jivas, exalted Jivas. By praying to them, what happens? We get a blessing from them. What do we pray for? We pray for good Jnana Indriyas, Karma Indriyas, and healthy prana in this body. All the doshas means defects, which are there in the body or the mind, they are removed by this invisible prayer. We pray to this invisible God and we get the invisible defects which are removed from our antakarna. So Shanti Pata, I'm sure everybody is clear now. Okay. Next is Karma Yoga. This is the second topic of the first chapter. Karma Yoga, we have all studied in chapter 3, 4, 5 of Bhagavad Gita. I will go through the slightly more details when we study the next slide. Yoga consists of three disciplines: Mahayagya, Sat Guna Praptihi, and Sat Bhavana. Right now, just learn this. I will go to the details in the next slide. The third topic is Upasana Yoga. In the first chapter, there are 5 upasanas, 5 lessons of meditation. For those who are interested, these are very, very difficult upasanas. They are not easy because we don't have the mind of the Vedic times. Our mind is a gross mind of this current time. It requires a lot of focusing ability of the mind to do these type of upasanas. Samhito Upasana, Vyakriti Upasana, Hiranyagarbha Upasana, Pankta Brahma Upasana, and Omkara Upasana. The Upanishad asks us to meditate on 4 or 5 things connected with our body, our mantras which we chant, or with the world which we see. And then it asks us to go a little bit deeper and deeper and deeper. The purpose of these upasanas is what? Chitta ekagrata and chitta vishalata. Ekagrata means what? One-pointedness. Like in chapter 11 of the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna, Arjuna asked the question, teach me, oh Lord Krishna, tell me how I can see that creator in this one body of yours. The whole vibhutis you explain, that is there in chapter 10. That is for chitta vishalata. Now my mind has already expanded because I have done the 10th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. I've understood the 36 glories which you have mentioned, and my mind is gone. It's become it has become broad vision. I can now, my mind can imagine the stars, it can imagine the nearest object, it can fathom the depth of the universe. But now that is the Vishalata, chapter 10 of Bhagavad Gita. Chapter 11 of Bhagavad Gita is Ekagrata. Seeing everything in one, and one in many and many in one. That is how Swami Chinmayananda used to teach that chapter 10 and 11. Many in one is chapter 11. You see the whole cosmos in one awareness principle. Chapter 11 of Bhagavad Gita. Chapter 10 of Bhagavad Gita, Vibhuti Yoga. What is that? You see one in many. The whole world is pervaded by awareness principle, consciousness principle. So, preparation of the mind for one-pointedness and for broad vision is the purpose of meditation. It is not for the knowledge of God. Many people feel that, by meditation, I will come to realize God. No. Meditation is only to prepare the mind. After you prepare the mind, you have to bring the knowledge of the Upanishad and say, I have to go beyond the Panchakoshas. Now I can meditate on the gross body, subtle body, causal body, and go beyond the 3 bodies. By going beyond the 3 bodies or beyond the 3 avasthas, I think the waking world, I say, this is not me. I take the dream world, the dreamer, I say, this dreamer is not me. I take the sleep world, the sleeper is also not me. Who am I? I am the Atma, which is beyond this three. This Atma cannot be described. You just have to say, I am that. Aham Brahma Asmi. Okay, that is the purpose of Upasana. Homa sadhana in Taittriya Upanishad is described to give 4 benefits. When you do Homa, Homa means what? In Homa Kunda, you do uh, certain prayers connected with the fire rituals. Dhana prapti, Shuddhi prapti, Jnana prapti, Sishya prapti. Benefits of doing homas: you can get wealth, you can get purity of mind, you can get knowledge, and you can also get sishyas, students who will come and learn from you. Fourth topic. That is the fourth topic of the first chapter. What are the 4 topics? Shanti Pata, Karma Yoga, Upasana Yoga, Homa Sadhana. What is the last topic? The last topic is Japa Sadhana, Vachikam and Manasam. What is Japa? Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. Keep on chanting this 100 times, 108 times, 1008 times. Keep chanting, chanting, chanting. You can either chant with the words outside loudly, which is called as Vachikam. Loudly you chant. Either you chant Om Namah Shivaya or you just chant Om. Loudly, Om, Om, till the other person in the other planet can hear. You can do that through your mouth, or you can do it in the mind. In the mind, you chant Om so loudly. In the mind, not outside. What happens then? I get the physical fitness, the emotional fitness, the intellectual fitness to study the Veda. That is the power behind japa. So japa is just not simply trying to, trying to tell others that I'm a very great person. No. The purpose behind japa is physical fitness, mental fitness, intellectual fitness. You gather the strength of the mind to go deeper and deeper. See, when you are trying to fathom the ocean, you need strength to go deep, dive into the ocean. Similarly, when we have to dive deep into our mind, you need that power, you need that energy. That energy will come only by these disciplines. Otherwise, what happens? Mind is a scattered mind. You think of what to eat, suddenly you think, oh, tomorrow I have to go there. Then third minute, you'll think, oh, I have to make my child study now. The fourth, you'll say, no, I have to go and play football, or I have to go and see TV, or immediately after you do that, immediately the mind will say, no, I have to see my mobile phone. Who has sent me the message? By the time you see a message, immediately your thought will come, oh, I have to start cooking. So this is how the scattered mind is. How to make this scattered mind single pointed so that I can study the Veda. That comes by meditation and japa sadhanas. I told you that in the next slide, I will explain to you what is Mahayajna. Quickly, I will run through this slide and Sadguna Praptihi. Mahayajna means Pancha Mahayajna. Karma Yoga is also defined as just simply doing yajnas in life. Karma Yoga taught in the Bhagavad Gita is twofold. One is accepting the rewards of the action as Ishvara Prasada and doing the action for Ishvara. These are the two wings of Karma Yoga in the chapter 3rd, 4th, and 5th chapters. The 4th and 5th chapters of Bhagavad Gita also talk about these Deva Yajna, Pitru Yajna, Brahma Yajna, Manushya Yajna, and Bhuta Yajna. These yajnas, yajna means what? It is a ritual. The rituals are fivefold. They make the mind sattvic. They make the mind pure. It is a refining exercise for the mind. Many people don't know all this. Many people think that, oh, I'm doing I'm just doing something which my father followed. It is good that I follow, but you should also know why they do these things. So Deva Yajna means worship of the Devatas. I told you Indra Devata, Varuna Devata, Vayu Devata, Agni Devata, all these Devatas, you pray to them so that they give you some blessings to remove certain obstacles in your life. That's all. That is the prayer. You see, for example, you do a simple puja at home. That is what it is. Devata puja, Ganesha puja. You pray to Lord Ganesha to remove the obstacles. Pitru Yajna. Pitru Yajna means Shraddha. For the forefathers in every religion, you have something which you do with the forefathers. You pray to the forefathers, you offer something so that it reaches them in heaven. That is why you do Pitru Yajna. Brahma Yajna means study of the Veda, which is all what we are doing now. Veda Rishis have given us the Vedas. So we are honoring the Veda Rishis by studying the Vedas, practicing the Vedas, sharing the Vedas. Suppose you have learned Keno Upanishad very well. What you can do, you can call 3-4 of your friends or 3-4 students and say, come on, let me form a small study circle. Let us study together Keno Upanishad. Whatever you have studied, you share. That is what is called as Brahma Yajna. All of you who have studied Keno Upanishad with me, you have understood something of Keno Upanishad. Shotrasya Shotra, Manaso Manoyad, Vacho Hi Vacham, Kahu Pranasya Pranaha. All those mantras you remember. Some of you have written to me saying that you went through the entire commentary of Keno Upanishad of Shankaracharya. Beautiful, very good. Full commentary. You've gone through the commentary of Shankaracharya on each and every verse. So with that knowledge, you have equipped yourself to teach. You're fit. That is what is Brahma Yajna. Then it is Manushya Yajna. What is Manushya Yajna? Manushya Yajna is social service. In Ramakrishna Mission, this is extremely popular. Social service, helping the poor, teaching the poor people, illiterate people, feeding the poor people. These are all feeding them, teaching them. It's all Manushya Yajna, helping them. During COVID time, you help people who are suffering, you send them a lunch box. That is Manushya Yajna. By doing that, what happens to you? You are purifying your mind. And when you purify your mind, what happens to you? You will come to Vedanta. 100% guarantee. You will say that there is something in this world which I don't know and I must know. And you can only know through the Veda. There's nothing else. There is no other, you can't go anywhere in any other place to learn the self-knowledge. The last yajna is called Bhuta Yajna. A lot of people you might have seen your grandmother, grandfather offering some food before they start eating. On the side, they will keep it. This is for the something which is not mine. I just leave it slightly on the side. Or feeding the animals itself. Feeding the crows in the morning. Before you start eating, you feed the crows. You protect the plants, protect the trees. Environmental protection, protect the rivers. Have a reverential attitude towards the nature around us. That is all Bhuta Yajna. So the fivefold yajnas, which are described in Taittriya Upanishad and also in Bhagavad Gita chapter 4 and 5, will help you to purify the mind. This is what a Brahmana will do. This is what a Sattvic mind will do. You may not do all five. You may just do only the Brahma Yajna, just study. It is possible. See, we are not living in the Vedic society. We are living in a modern society of internet and WhatsApp. So it's different world together. Next is Sadguna Praptihi. We are now in the topic of Karma Yoga. Okay, it consists of Mahayagya and Sadguna Praptihi. Sadgunas means what? Developing Sattvic nature. In chapter 13, 16, 17, and 18 of Bhagavad Gita, you will find Sadgunas. Sadgunas means good virtues which you have to follow. Satyam, Shamaha, Tapaha, Dakshina, Danam, Kushalam. These are some of the Sadgunas, good virtues which you have to develop. What is Satyam? Satyam means integrity of the body, mind, and the sense organs. Arjavam. What you're thinking in the mind, you do outside with your actions. There is no dichotomy. There is what you think, you do. There is balance. What you think, what you speak, and what you do. That is what is called as harmony in life. Harmony in one's own life. Shamaha is thought discipline. Mental balance. Your scattered mind is disciplined. Tapaha means moderation in eating, austerities, fasting, small type of fasting, not hurting the body. These are all taught in the Bhagavad Gita in chapter 16 and 17 and 18. Dakshina, having a sense of fairness. Dhanam, charity, giving charity. We have to give more in the world and take less from the world. That is what the Upanishad teaches us. Go on giving more. Go on giving more. Give more. Give more, not in terms of only money. Give in terms of time. Help people. By talking to somebody, listening to somebody with grievance, you are giving them time. It is what is called as dhanam. Kushalam means don't neglect your family, take care of the family. Sadbhavana means reverential attitude to the world, which is Panchabhutas, reverential attitudes to your Guru, to reverential attitudes to the Devatas like Lakshmi, which is after wealth. Durga is for the health. Saraswati is for knowledge. These are the three basic Devatas which we pray to, Lakshmi, Durga, Saraswati. And what is this whole creation? We look at the creation as the manifestation of these three principles. Lakshmi, Durga, Saraswati is nothing but seen outside as the world. So Sadbhavana means knowing that there is some higher reality. The attitude which we develop towards Vedas, to understand the Veda, to understand Smritis like Bhagavad Gita. Sishtacharaha. So there are three basic sources of knowledge. Shruti, Smriti. Shruti means Upanishad. Smriti means Bhagavad Gita. And the third text is Brahma Sutra. So all the three sources of knowledge, I have the right attitude. Karma Yoga gives refinement, purity, maturity, spiritualization of the mind, gatheration of all the virtues, spiritual virtues. All this is for the spiritual purpose. When I study in school, and that educational program of school is for material goal. This Karma Yoga and Upasana Yoga is for the spiritual. Okay. So with this, what I will do is I'll stop here. We will do the topic 3, Vedic Upasana, next week. And we'll start with this 13th slide. In case you have any questions, you can ask at the end of the class. And so next week, we'll continue Taittriya Upanishad. My objective, like I told you, is to finish this 65 pages or so of these notes. And then we'll take up some portions, some mantras from the commentary from these Upanishads. We'll take 4 or 5 mantras out of 31. And we'll go through Shankaracharya's commentary so that you get an idea of how Shankaracharya deals with these mantras. Okay. Let's chant the ending prayers. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purna Purnamudachade Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vasishyade. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. There are no messages in the chat box. In case you have any questions, you can post them in the chat box, or you can ask them yourself. Shanmugam has unmuted everybody. So
Vishal, yeah, can I ask?
Yeah, Vishal, go ahead.
So my question was, sir, I want to know the difference between Anandamay Kosh and Atma, because Anandamay Kosh is the bliss Kosh. So little bit more about Anandamay Kosh. I'm a little confused. I thought that once you reach Anandamay Kosh, you are in bliss, or you've reached the bliss ka Kosh. You have to go beyond that, or what do you know? Like little bit that. So thoda, I can't put words to my question, but I'm sure you understand what I'm trying to say.
You're asking. You're asking me. You're asking me the last kosha. I have not yet started the first kosha.
I know, but sir, I mean, in case you can.
Okay, no problem. I'll explain to you. See, what the 5th kosha, the Anandamaya kosha, this is what your question is, a very, very common question which all the students, they will ask. It's a very, very common question. You know, they say, what is the Atma and Anandamaya? They say, the question is, what is Anandamaya and what is Atma? How do I differentiate between the two? Here is where Shankaracharya's commentary helps us a lot. I will send you the commentaries later on, but when you get it, Vishal, you go through the commentary of Vijnanamaya Kosha and what Shankaracharya has written about Vijnanamaya Kosha. I want you to study that commentary.
Yes, sir.
And you will get a very clear a message as to how to differentiate between the two. Okay, in short, I'll explain to you. See, the Ananda means it is happiness, it's bliss. What is bliss? Bliss means having no thoughts in my mind. In Vedanta, what we call it as bliss is nothing but having no thoughts in the mind is blissful. Now, Anandamaya Kosha is experienced by us in sleep. I repeat, Anandamaya Kosha is the happiness which we get in our sleep state. In our sleep state, are you happy or not? Or are you as troubled as in the waking state? In the waking state, you are troubled. So, in the waking state, you are having the mind, but it is not blissful. In the sleep state, now listen to it and let your mind go through your experience of the waking and in the sleep state, okay? As I'm talking, in the sleep state, what happens to you is this mind, which is full of thoughts, full of projections, withdraws from the world, it goes into the nerves of nerve vessels. This is how Prashna Upanishad describes the sleep state. The mind withdraws into the nerves and it goes to the nerves in the heart. It is not any other nerve. It goes into the nerves in the heart, in the region of the heart, and it settles there. When the mind has settled into your heart, all of us have the same experience of sleep.
Yes, sir.
That is a state in which there is a reflection of Atma in the mind. And that is an anubhava. It is an experience of all. So that anubhava is called as Anandamaya Kosha. Why do we say it's Anandamaya? You ask anybody in the morning, as soon as you wake up, you ask anybody, how was your sleep? What did you experience in sleep? Invariably, there will be only two replies they will give you. You go anywhere in the world, ask this question. Go to Japan, go to Africa, go to America, go to London, go to India.
Yes, sir.
How was your sleep? You will say, I was very happy in sleep. First, this is explained in Chandogya Upanishad. I'm not telling you something from my own self. This is called universal experience. I had a blissful sleep. I had a good sleep is the first answer. Immediately follow that will be, I didn't know anything. So our experience of sleep consists of two portions. One is ignorance, which is what is called as ajnanam. It is a covering of Atma. Then the second thing is, it is a reflection of Ananda. It is a reflection of Atma in the mind. That is what is called as Anandamaya Kosha. And what is Ananda, which is the Swarupa Ananda? The
Satchitananda, that one.
Swarupa Ananda is Satchid Ananda. It is my nature. It is my Swarupa. It is nothing to do with any reflection. It has got nothing to do with the mind. So, in sleep, without the knowledge of Taittriya Upanishad, you will only say, I was ignorant about the world and about myself, and I was blissful. With the knowledge of Mandukya Upanishad or Taittriya Upanishad, when you have done the 5 koshas, in the 5th kosha, Shankaracharya will say, drop the Vijnanamaya kosha Ananda. That is Vritti Ananda. It is reflected Ananda. And it is not Atma. You have to drop that. How to drop that? Not physically. You have to sit in meditation, quietly tell yourself, I am not the bliss which I experience in the sleep. I am Ananda. It is Brahma Ananda. It is Atma Ananda. Atma Ananda is never experienced with the mind. Whenever we say experience or anubhava, you should note it is always in time, space, and with the mind. What about the happiness which I get through in the baking state? I go to Rasagulla shop and buy the Rasagulla, or an ice cream shop and I have it, or my son comes home and I feel very happy. These are all called as Vishaya Ananda. So you should remember there is Vishaya Ananda, there is without Vishaya in the sleep, Avishaya Ananda, and then there is Swarupa Ananda. Okay?
I'm just writing it down.
Swarupa is
Yes, sir.
my
Yes, sir.
nature, and it cannot be experienced, but it can be claimed. That is the ultimate teaching of Taittriya Upanishad. That is the ultimate teaching of Mandukya Upanishad. Swarupa Ananda is Turiya Ananda. Vishaya Ananda is the worldly joy.
Yes, sir.
The reflected Ananda, Pratibhimba Ananda, is the joy in sleep, which is Vijnanamaya Kosha.
Yes, sir.
So unless you drop that, otherwise people will say what? The whole world is not there in the sleep state. So let me go back to sleep. Let me enjoy that Ananda. No, that is not. Going to sleep is not self-realization. Self-realization is in the waking state. When the mind is fully awake and I am able to transcend the mind and go beyond the mind to that state. Whose state it is? My own state. It is my own state. Therefore, I would go back to that knowledge which tells me that that is my Swarupa. Therefore, entire Brahma Vidya is a study in which I only try to remove all the coverings, and then the last thing of attaining Brahman is not an action. It is only a discovery. That pure form of mind in which I alone am. It is called Nitya Mukta Swarupaha. Ever always free from the body and mind. And that is what is called as Paramarthika Swarupam. It is going from the waking state to that super waker status. It is only a status change which I make because of the knowledge. It is not a physical status. I don't grow. It's like, for example, through knowledge, I get up from dream to waking. To Waker, I have to go through knowledge, I have to reach Atma. That is why the study of Upanishads is important. It will graduate you to the higher level of Atma, and once you have got the clarity, you will remain there permanently and say, how did I ever miss this Ananda of myself? That is my true self. It is not, see, this Vishal, which I am saying as Vishal, is not the father, it's not the mother, it's not the son, it's not the brother of somebody, but that is in the Vyavahara only, in the empirical world. Whenever the body is there, the relations will come. But when the body is not there, no relations, neither with the siblings or with the children or anybody. Your only relationship is with that Paramatma Sarupaha, Amrita Sarupa. It is eternal, immortal self. The more you learn about Atma, the more you will be able, your own intellect will be able to differentiate Anandamaya Kosha and Brahman. Am I clear?
Superb. I love you, sir. This is absolutely amazing.
Okay, thank you. This is nothing from me, it is all from Shankaracharya. It's all his commentary. Go through the commentary, you will come to that bliss which exists today in all our lives. Thank you. Anybody else has a question?
Thank you, sir.
Yes, Shama, go ahead.
Pradam Shekharji, as always, very inspirational class. It especially feels because it's been after a bit of a gap. So thank you very much. And as usual, brilliant introduction, very good outline. So it's all kind of mind is already prepared as to where we are going. Yeah. So that's I mean, that's a very beautiful treatment. The question which I have is three separate ones. They are very small questions. So is it only through the Brahma Vidya, through the Mokshartham, so is it only through that we, even at the Vyavaharika level, all this question about positive psychology these days, in terms of authentic self as your proper, fulfillment and all of those, the idea of perfection can only be attained after you've had moksha jnanam, atma jnanam.
Yes,
otherwise
right.
Vyavaharika level, what is the perfection? What you think I think is perfect is imperfect as to you, because it's so relative, isn't it?
Yes. So to answer your question, you're absolutely right. In the Vyavahara, there is no perfection.
Yeah, I wanted that clarity. Yeah.
Absolutely, you cannot have perfection in Vyavahara because we are talking about relative world, relative mind, relative experiences.
Yeah, but one of the phala prapti, so mokshartha, apart from being in the Brahmananda, one of these things I imagine that there is that we finally may be able to live a near perfect life in the Vyavaharika level too. That's the question.
You can live, but with the knowledge of Veda. You can. That is what is called as Jivan Mukti.
Yeah.
In Vyavahara, you can be the best mother, the best father, the best son, the best daughter. You can still be the best in everything in your life. How do you do it? Only by saying that all these experiences of mine are at the relative plane, and to the best of my knowledge, I will serve my duty. In each role, in each moment to moment, you live a contented life.
Yeah. So in other words, that so much striving which we do to really live a good life is finally going to be possible only when we are nearer the Brahma-jnanam or Atma-jnanam.
That's correct. You see, you have to learn to detach from whatever you have attached to.
And then
60
slowly
years,
going.
70 years of our life is for attachment to the world.
Mm.
But after this, when you come to Brahma Vidya, what it teaches you is this Vyavaharika world is called as Mithya world. Mithya means it is an appearance, it is not real.
Okay.
This Mithyatva Nishchaya alone will give me the Brahmanam.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nothing else. There is nothing else will give me Brahma Ananda except the decision or the acceptance of the world of Vyavahara, that transactional world. I tell in my own mind only. I don't even tell my son or daughter about it. They will not understand because they don't have the Vedic knowledge. It requires the Vedic preparation of the mind to come to this acceptance that the transactional world is a temporary, incidental human experience.
Yeah.
It is not my real nature. My real nature is I am a pure being. I am always a pure being. That is, you have to repeat to yourself 1,000 times, 10,000 times. And tell yourself, I am always pure. I am always blissful. Whatever I'm experiencing is there. I'm not denying my experiences. I may be experiencing some sorrows in life also. But you tell your own mind it is a passing phase. It is a temporary incidental phase.
Yeah.
Okay. What's the third
Second question?
Oh,
second question is
Yes.
Second question is, and just because you've given the outline of all the Upanishads, am I right to conclude that the study of a very thorough, in-depth study of Taittriya Upanishad, which deals with the Upasana and Shikshavali and everything, and Mandukya Upanishad, if one had to choose between of all of these, these two will be the most crucial ones? And then I can say, I know Upanishads.
Okay, good question. This is a good question of a student, a very, very serious student of spiritual study. See, I have studied 12 Upanishads. In my opinion, there are 4 Upanishads you should learn.
Okay.
The top of the list is Mandukya. If I had no time, I would just do Mandukya. But don't stop with Mandukya. After Mandukya, you have to meditate. Whatever you have learned in those 12 mantras, you have to assimilate. Let your mind keep on thinking.
Think into it,
Again and again, go through Mandukya in your own mind. Let your mind go through waking. I am not the waker. I am not the dreamer. I am not the sleeper. I am Turiya Atma. In Chandogya Upanishad, Prajapati, the creator, tells the student to meditate. I am not the waker for 34 years. Not 1 year, 2 years, not 3 years. 96 years goes away to say that I am not the waker, I am not the sleeper, I am not the dreamer. So you can imagine, it is Prajapati Vidya. Study Chandogya Upanishad, the 8th chapter. Okay, and 12 verses of Mandukya Upanishad is enough. But only thing is, study the meaning, study Shankaracharya's commentary on those 12 verses, assimilate in your mind, do Nididhyasanam. I am Turiya Atma. I am not Vishwa Taijasa Prana.
So
This
that is the single
is
one.
the single one Upanishad for the Uttama Adhikari.
Correct.
The highest student.
Yeah.
Okay. Then comes the Madhyama students whose mind is not so ready. Then what they have to do? They have to come and study Keno Upanishad first.
Okay.
That is a simple Upanishad, but very deep, very, very deep. I will be completing the Shankaracharya's commentary on Keno Upanishad, the entire commentary of the Upanishad of Shankaracharya, verse by verse. I'll be completing in the next 1-2 months. I'm still writing. So Keno Upanishad, in my view, is the second Upanishad you should study.
Correct.
And the other two Upanishad I will ask you is Taittriya Upanishad, Katha Upanishad.
Right. Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Yeah.
First is Mandukya. Second is Keno Upanishad. Third is Taittriya Upanishad. And the last is the Katha Upanishad.
Yeah, no, just a very slight comment just on the Mandukya Upanishad, So the only, after, listening to so much of your classes and getting absorbed in the Mandukya Upanishad, one thing I can say is that increasingly, even in my wakeful state, I can see and actually admire it that, oh my God, what an amazing dream, I'm having. So even although I'm awake, I can see that it is a dream, yesterday was a dream, continue. So it's very nice to see that, as to how it is increasingly realizing as to how all of what I see and hear and whatever, it is the mithya. The only thing I don't want to think mithya is your classes. No, that's a real one. So, because that would be very difficult then, because otherwise I'll completely forget. So the last this thing, my question today is a very short one. The japam and meditation, should it be done in a sequence if you are sitting for puja upasana, or japam can be done, of course, anytime, anywhere?
Yeah, japa can be done anywhere. It need not be only in the puja. It can be, you can just sit in the morning, or you can sit in a garden outside and close your eyes and just do a simple japa. It can be done anywhere. That is why in Lord Krishna says, among all these yajnas, japa yajna, I am the best. One of the glories, he says, japa yajna, I am japa yajna. It's very simple. It can be followed by me. And you should remember, it is only to train my mind.
Yes, you made that point very beautifully today. Yeah.
Yes.
It is not
it is only for chitta ekagrata, chitta vishalata. That's all.
Vishalata. No, you made that point very clear. And over a period of time, does the mind actually become a meditative mind,
Yes, it does.
Yeah. So
the mind which is scattered and spread in the world becomes meditative.
So you're more absorbed in
you're more absorbing, you're more contemplating. You see, your contemplation increases 100-fold.
Wow. Yeah.
100-fold. I give you a guarantee.
Yes. Yeah, no, I agree with you. Yeah. Fantastic.
So that when it happens, you realize it. It is nothing. You will realize it yourself.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Shikharji. Welcome back.
Okay. Bharat has got a point here. Adhyasa Bhashyam. Would you also like to include it, even though it's not Upanishad? 100% right, Bharat. Adhyasa Bhashyam is a must for every Upanishadic student. You do it on your own through the talks which I have given. Even though some new people are here, Adhyasa Bhashyam is extremely important. Shankaracharya writes Adhyasa Bhashyam before he writes a Brahma Sutra commentary, he writes a Adhyasa Bhashya. And he says that Adhyasa is all the way Adhyasa, all the way Adhyasa. If you understand Adhyasa, you will understand Brahman. If you don't understand Adhyasa, you will not understand Brahman. Categorically, he says openly, he says, you have to know it is a superimposition on me, the pure awareness. See, in sleep, I am pure awareness. In that pure awareness, I am superimposing the waker. I am superimposing the dreamer. I am superimposing the sleeper. And again, I go back to sleep. Again, I go back to my Swarupam, which is pure awareness. If you understand Adhyasa, this is the way to understand Adhyasa. Adhyasa means what? On my pure self, I am saying I am the Vaker Chandra, Vaker Bharat, Vaker Sornam, Vaker Raghunath. Vaker is not my real status. Then what happens? Then after some time, I will say I am the dreamer Shanta, I am the dreamer Ajita, I am the dreamer. That is also not my status. What is my status? Turiya Atma, pure Atma.
Yes, status.
Similarly, then I will say, oh, when I get up in the morning, I say, oh, I was a sleeper. I went to sleep. Which is that I which went to sleep? It is the mind which is awake now went to sleep. It is not Atma which went to sleep. Atma is the same in all the three states. That is the changeless self. The changing self is the ego I, which is the mind I, which says, I woke, I dreamt, I slept. In these three I's is our entire life. And when I know through the Veda that this I which is saying is not the real I, it is only an empirical relative I. And then the Veda tells me, you are the Turiyam I, the pure I, the Atma I. Then in the waking state, I can hold on to that Atma I and say, that is me. When I keep on saying that is me, then what happens? I am claiming my nature, which is Sarupa Anand.
Nature.
With that, my study of Upanishads has given benefit to me because in this birth, I have realized I am not the body, I am not the mind, I am the ever pure Atma. You may not be, you see, some of you may be able to understand what I am saying, you may not be able to express it, but that is the truth. Through words, you cannot express it, but you can realize it. Every teacher can explain it in this way, but beyond that, it is only the hearer who understands that I have realized my true nature. Okay, Bharat, very good commentary. What else? Anybody else has any other remark?
Sekharji, I have a question.
Yeah,
I put it in the chat box also. Just now you explained that that I am the Atma.
Yeah.
So this is what I am having some basic doubt. We are negating the Atma is not the three body, not the three states of mind, and not the five kosas. But how Atma is related to I means as a not as a body or mind, but how it is related to I.
Okay, good question. See, this is what they say is that the moment you drop your three sharirams and say that I am not this, I am not this, neti neti. You know, what you're saying is I am not this, I am not this, I am not this. When you say that, what happens in your mind is you're negating all the mithya world, all the appearing world. And the scriptures say the moment you have eliminated all the appearing world and have negated as just an appearance, okay? Like your dream. If I ask you today, how was the dream yesterday? Oh, it just came and went. Similarly, how was the waking day today? Oh, it just came and went. That's all. So when you're able to say that the waking world also has just come and gone, that means you have given that waking world the reality which it deserves, which is only relative reality. How to know that after negating I am Turiya Atma is a question which everybody asks. The Upanishad says that when you have negated the Panchakoshas, the three Sharirams, Atma shines by itself because it is self-revealing truth. Swayam Jyoti Brahmana of Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, chapter 4. Study that chapter very well. It will give you full clarity on you don't need any other instrument of or a source of knowledge to know Atma. You don't need it. Atma is Swayam Jyoti. The only source of knowledge about Atma is the Veda. Only the Veda. And Veda means what? Certain portions of the Veda. Every Upanishad is a source of knowledge for Atma. Shrotrasya Shrotram, Manaso Manoyat. It is the ear of the ear. Remember that verse. You cannot describe Atma, but it exists. First of all, you should remember you have full faith in the Veda and say that Brahman exists, God exists, Atma is there. So remove the doubt that Atma is not there. That should go away from your intellect. Second is, once you have negated it and you have the knowledge of the Veda, this knowledge of the Veda, the thought will arise in your mind and it will prompt you to say that this is my real nature. Whatever it is. You see, when you have dropped your mind, what will prompt you to say that I am Atma? It is the knowledge of Veda, knowledge of Keno Upanishad and Taittriya Upanishad and this. Whatever Upanishad you have studied, out of all these Upanishads, your mind will get attached to one Upanishad. And your mind will keep on going in circles and keep on going and thinking about that realization of the self through that Upanishad. For some people, it will be Mandukya. For some, it will be Keno. For some, it will be Taittriya Upanishad. It will happen. When your mind is ready, it will keep on asking the question. I am not this kosha. Like today, Vishal was asking. His mind is already in the groove of saying that I am not Anandamaya, but I can't know what is this Anandamaya. Similarly, your mind will push you into something. Once you have finished these Upanishad, one Upanishad will strike you as the brilliant Upanishad for you. Each one of you. Okay? So once
Thank you, Sekharji.
it happens, it will happen, and it is self-revealing. So the answer to your question is, Atma is self-revealing.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anybody else? Yeah.
Shekhar, I'd like to ask you.
Yeah, Chandra.
You know, the thing is, we are not able to experience the Atma itself, but how do we know that we are in it?
Okay, same question what Manikandan is asking. Because experience means mind. Mind means jiva. The moment you say experience or anubhava, it means you're talking about self, which is the mind. What the Upanishad says is Atma is not an experience. It is not an anubhava. It is not an experience. Experience means mind is involved, body is involved. The moment mind is there, time will be there, sense organs will be there, the sense objects will be there. You cannot differentiate Atma with the self, with the Anatma.
So how to get connected then?
Yeah, how to connect is only by saying, I am not the Anatma. I am not the body. I am not the mind. I am not a part of the world. I am someone different from the world. I am different from the body. I am different from the mind. What is that? You leave it to God, leave it to that reality to come to you to say that that's what you are. It will happen. It will happen for sure. When the mind is pure, your Atma will tell you, I am this, I am this, I am this. It will happen to you, and then you will never ever come back and say, I am this body or mind. It is only a question of that the fruit becoming ripe. When your mind becomes ripe for the knowledge through repeated listening, if it has not happened to you today, means there are some obstacles which you have to clear. How do I clear those obstacles? I have to learn the Upanishads again and again, listen again and again. A time will come, those obstacles will go away. Don't worry if I don't know this Atma before the end of this body. This body will come and go, but this study will not. This study will take you to the next birth where you will be having a fresh, pure mind. But never lose faith in the existence of Atma.
But we know it is temporary. All this are our equipment for surviving the world. We are aware of that, but because of this, we find that to get connected to a real nature is rather difficult.
Yes, it is difficult for an unprepared mind. For a prepared mind, it is a walkthrough. See, the difference between a prepared mind and an unprepared mind is only the obstacles which are there in my mind. It is still there because I'm identifying myself as this body again and again. See, the moment this identification is a very, very subtle process of mind. The mind learns to disidentify from itself. The mind, through the knowledge of the Veda, learns to disidentify with itself. When the mind learns to disidentify with itself, automatically it disidentifies with the body. Because the mind and body are interconnected in all the three avasthas.
Right.
Okay?
Okay. Yeah, no.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, son, so much.
Anybody else has a question? If not, we will stop here. We'll continue next week. Next Saturday, we'll continue Taittriya Upanishad. The way I'm taking it is very, very simple. In simple way, I'm trying to explain the truth. But continue the study the way it is being taught. For sure, you will have some effect in your mind. And once it happens, the contemplation of Atma will begin in your own mind, and you will be after this knowledge of Atma again and again, and the search will become deeper and deeper. And when that happens, you can't stop it. It is nature's law. Like the sun rises, the mind rises to a different level, and it takes its own path of purity and ultimate immortality.
Right.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Rajshekar.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay,
Thank you. And good night.
Good night.
Namaste.
Thank you, Shekhar ji.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.